Welcome back to Play and Trade Guitars. I'm John, that's Zach behind the camera, and this is Play and Trade Guitars, where we play it and trade it. We're looking at the standard of standards, the Gibson Les Paul Standard, and if you prefer a slimmer neck and those hotter output Alnico 5 Burstbucker 61s, we're going to be talking about the Les Paul Standard 60s today. One of the best selling guitars from Gibson USA, and it's fantastic. Of course, we're going to put it on the bench and pull it apart. I'm going to plug it in and play it. But at the top, if you're in the market for this guitar or any new gear, click to buy new gear using our link. It does help us make these demos, and you get easy payment plans. It makes buying a new Gibson way easier, trust me. Check that out down below. You also get fast free shipping. Europe, you can use our Thomann link. And don't forget, we're giving away an American-made Martin acoustic guitar when we hit 100,000 subscribers. To win that guitar, make sure you're subscribed. Hit subscribe now if you haven't, and sign up via Gleam. Everything's pinned in the comments or down in the description. All right, without further ado, let's talk about the legendary Gibson Les Paul Standard. This one, the 60s version from Gibson USA. Beautiful guitar, let's get started. All right, beautiful finish. This is the Bourbon Burst. You can click our link for all the finish options. And what makes a standard? What makes a Les Paul Standard? Full nitro gloss finish, made in America in the Nashville, Tennessee, USA plant from Gibson USA. Full binding on the fretboard and the body. You got the kidney bean Grover tuners on the 60s versus the Kluson on the 50s. The thinner profile neck here on the 60s. And these Alnico 5 Burstbucker 61 pickups. These are probably my favorite production Burstbuckers from Gibson, period. These sound so good. And of course, you got that beautiful maple top on a mahogany body, the classic Les Paul combination. And man, it doesn't get much better than this. In terms of pricing, this is currently priced at $27.99. You can dress it up with a AAA flamed maple top for about $3,000. You can save some money if you go with a plain top, which is like a single metallic color finish. And you can even do the satin finish faded series, which I highly recommend. That's at $22.99, so a serious savings. And the only difference there, same guitar, it has a satin nitro finish instead of gloss. So check all that down below. I'll leave that in the description. But this guitar just feels great, just feels solid in the hands. Let's head over to the bench, pull it apart before we plug it in. All right, starting up at the top of the headstock, beautiful mother of pearl Gibson inlay, Les Paul model screened in gold, standard on the truss rod cover. You got the chrome kidney bean tuners from Grover, full nitro gloss finish across the entire guitar, slimmer neck profile on the 60s, bound fretboard, nice piece of rosewood with those acrylic trapezoid inlays. Body is bound as well, mahogany body with that carved maple top. Beautiful top on this one. It looks different from every angle. I love that. Every single one of these is like a fingerprint. They're all different, and that makes it so cool if you ask me. Burstbucker 61's my favorite in the series. Alnico 5 magnets on those. We'll get a reading in a second when we get the strings out of the way. But classic volume, tone. This is the epitome of a Les Paul. Dressed up, looking beautiful, sounding great. Let's get the strings out of the way and get some measurements. 1.68 inches at the nut, 0.8 inches at the first, up to 0.89 inches at the 12th. Body thickness, 1.99 inches. And one more thing, we'll get another look at this beautiful rosewood fretboard, but Gibson USA plex all their guitars, so you have precision plecked frets on all the Gibson USA models, which is a big deal. Let's flip over these humbuckers and take a look. You got the lead 61 in bridge position. It's an Alnico 5 PAF style humbucker. And then in neck position, take a look here. You got the Rhythm 61 short neck tenon. You get a look down in the body, and you can also see the thickness of the maple cap from the side here. Flipping on the multimeter, we'll get a reading on the humbuckers. 7.6 in bridge, 7.7 in neck, 3.8 combined. All right, lifting up the control cavity cover, we'll take a look at these hand-wired Gibson 500K pots and orange drop capacitors in there. Modern wiring here. This one feels a little heavier, not gonna lie. Oh yeah, 10 pounds, 4 ounces. We are at 10.25 pounds on this bad boy. And flipping around for the initial playthrough here. Great ring to it. Of course, you notice the slimmer neck compared to I just demoed the 50s. You can watch that video as well. But certainly a slimmer neck. You got the nitro feel in full gloss, which also has an effect on the playing experience. Feels good in the hands. Definitely the weight is noticeable. These will range anywhere from, typically 8 pounds up to 11 pounds. So this one at just over 10 is certainly on the heavier side. I probably like a Les Paul around 8.5 to just over 9, personally. But I'll tell you what, unplugged, it sounds great. You can check out Zach and I jamming with the 3 Les Paul Standards in production as well. I'll link that video here. But this is my favorite part. We're gonna plug this guitar in. Remember, if you're in the market for any gear, including a Gibson Les Paul, click to buy a new gear using our link. Those payment plans make it really easy to buy a Gibson. Trust me, check that out below. All right, let's plug in. I'll show you clean tones. We'll dirty it up, and we'll let it scream behind a track. Other side of the playing demos, I'll give you my honest reaction to playing this guitar, along with the final score. So let's get plugged in and have some fun. Get just a little bit of extra nastiness, an extra push from these Alnico 5 Burstbucker 61s. And it gives you a lot of voice and a lot of focused power to wield with a Les Paul. And I just love this guitar. You stuck with me to the end, so I'm going to give you my raw reaction and my final score. I based the final score on 3 main categories: overall playability, overall sound, and overall value. When it comes to playability, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I may be a convert. I have for the longest time preferred the 50s neck profile. And I gotta tell you, I'm starting to prefer the slimmer neck profile. This guitar was so easy to play, and the slimmer neck profile really allowed me in a very comfortable way to get all up and down this neck, no problems. The gloss finish feels great. Beautiful piece of rosewood, always nice to play on rosewood. I'll say from a playability standpoint, this guitar is a tad on the heavy side at 10¼ pounds, but most of them that I see are actually under 10 pounds, so I think this one's a bit of an exception. That said, it sounds really good. Overall playability, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 9.0 on overall playability. When it comes to overall sound, these are my favorite Gibson USA pickups. Every time I go back to them, I'm just reminded how much I love them. I really am gonna put this as the high water mark for Burstbuckers and sound. I'm gonna put this guitar at a 9.6 on overall sound because I think it just sounds exactly what you think of when you think of just a roaring Les Paul. And I adore this guitar. 9.6, perfectly executed sounds from these 61 Burstbuckers. I love them. And then when it comes to value, at $27.99, this is the Les Paul Standard 60s. You can dress it up with the flamed maple cap. You can dress it down with the satin finish in the faded series, which is also great, and save yourself some money. But because they give you options, because this is the banner flagship guitar, the Les Paul Standard from Gibson USA, it's hard to fault. And at $27.99, I still think it's a good value. And if you want a better value, you can buy the satin finish and save quite a bit of money there. So good tip that a lot of people miss, I think. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 9.0 on overall value. That's gonna bring us to a final score of 9.2 for the Les Paul Standard 60s. This particular guitar, this particular Les Paul 60s is one of my favorite guitars I've played in a long time. And Zach and I have come back to this one a couple times now. You can check out our jam where we really opened up and had a lot of fun. And I think in showing the current lineup of 50s, 60s, and 50s with P90s, I keep coming back to this one as my favorite. It just is. If you're in the market for this guitar or any other gear, click to buy new gear using our link. It does really help us make these demos. We want to bring you unbiased information. Whatever you buy it using our link, because we get credit. It helps us make these demos. We really appreciate it. You get those easy payment plans, fast free shipping. Europe, you can use our Thomann link and all that. So thanks for being part of the Play and Trade Guitars community. For Play and Trade Guitars, I'm John. That's Zach behind the camera. We'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out today. Check out the rest of our Gibson demo lineup.